Okay, so hi, how is everybody tonight? Now I'm going to start a live webinar very shortly. I'm just at this stage setting up, so if you'd like to bear with me for a couple of minutes while I just get a couple of things where they're supposed to be, because don't you know it, you think you've got yourself all organised and the universe decides not quite. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about making talking head reels. Now, I know quite a few of you are interested in doing this and would like to know how we go about it. So let's get going as quickly as you can. And again, some of my tech isn't quite where I want it to be, but you know, that's the fun of technology, isn't it? All right, let's go. So let's make a talking head reel. How do we go about it? So here we are. Welcome to today's webinar, and we're going to be talking about making talking head reels as simply as we can, part one. Alrighty. So here we go. My name's Jane Ward, and I'm so excited to be here. Nervous at the same time, but you know, we all have our little bugs to bear. So here we are, and I am really pleased to be here tonight to be able to give you some knowledge that took me a while to learn, but I'm here now and I'm quite confident with doing these. So let me pass on the knowledge that I have. Now, whether you're a total beginner looking to improve your reels or someone who's a little bit better at it, this session is going to give you some practical and actionable tips. All right, talking head reels are such a powerful tool, and they're for anyone who's trying to grow their business and share their expertise or connect with their audiences authentically. So here's the best part. You don't need a Hollywood studio, because this is where I do most of mine, which is just at home and just in one of our rooms here. And you don't need hours and hours of editing or any of those things to make it work. Today we're going to focus on the technical side of things, creating the talking head reels and the tools that you're going to need to set up in your space. So next week we'll talk about actually creating and filming the reels. But before you actually do that, there's quite a bit that you've got to get through first, and of the tools that you need, how to set up, the best sort of way to catch the information or capture the information that you want. So, yeah, that's me. Okay. Why do you care? Why should we care about creating talking head reels? Talking head reels, they're one of the easiest and most effective ways to build trust and showcase your expertise and to grow your brand. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not difficult and they don't take long to make. I mean, I can throw one up in 3 or 4 minutes. And with the tips that I'm going to show you today, I'll show you how you can actually do the same thing. It's not terribly hard. So let's get going. Here's a bit of a quick question for you. Have you ever tried making a talking head reel? I'm going to tongue twister, isn't it? I'm going to have to get my head around that. Have you tried making a talking head reel yourself? Type yes in the comments if you have, so that I can see who has actually given it a shot and who hasn't. Okay. Now, if you're feeling bold, tell me, how did it go? You know, if you're feeling a little bit brave, let me know how it actually went for you. Okay. So what we want to do is build trust with our audiences. And when you're a talking head, people see who you are and it builds trust. Now, let's see. let's start with the big question. Why are talking head reels such a game changer? They build trust with your audience. They share your experience and connect with authenticity. And people like to see that they're dealing with someone who is actually authentic. So let's have a look at what we've got here. Showing up on your camera, actually turning up and being you and talking to someone face to face, so to speak, will get you far more engagement than just a still. You see a lot of these affiliate marketers, etc., out there with text above them and business. That doesn't work. You need to actually engage with the people that you're talking to. And if you're a talking head like I am right now, then people will tend to stop and listen to what you've got to say. You need to market your business and grow your brand. And your brand is you, not somebody else back here and not the product you're selling. Your brand is you. So you need to actually get in there and be you and be authentic. Now, you don't need a ton of fancy equipment. You really don't. I've got a really basic camera on top of my laptop that I use most of the time for this sort of thing, for when I'm doing a webinar or what have you. But when I'm actually doing my talking heads, most of the time I'm doing them up by the washing machine or out in the yard, and it's this. This is it. This is all I use. It is a good idea, though, to have good lighting. So if you're doing it inside, you need a really good ring light or some other form of lighting that stops a big shadow casting on your face. And I'm probably not doing a great job of that tonight, but you need people to see you. You don't want to be in shadows. You don't want to be from a side on where it makes your face all distorted or whatever. You need good lighting, not strong lighting. Even just natural light will help you along the way. So what you need is good lighting to get you going, so you get a nice even look across your face. A clip-on mic is, when you're outside, a clip-on mic is absolutely essential, because if you're walking around with your phone and you're recording while you're walking around and being a talking head at the same time, you're going to get a lot of background noise, and that can crowd out. Now, there is a tip for salvaging that, and that is sometimes to put a little bit of background music over the top of your video, but we'll get to that later. So a microphone, a decent microphone. The microphone on your phone is not bad if you're up close, and if you're doing it inside, make sure there's not a lot of background noise of tools or equipment or TVs, radios, screaming kids, all that sort of stuff. You need to be in a space where you can concentrate and get your video made. So good lighting and a microphone. They're two to start with. You need your space to reflect your personality. Now, having said that, it also needs to reflect a little bit about what you're talking about. So if you're talking about the drudgery of housewife kind of things, standing at the kitchen sink, doing dishes and being a talking head is very relatable. Pegging the washing on the line is very relatable. Driving the car, doing the grocery shopping, all of those things make great aesthetics for your talking head. Now, the downside of doing these in some public spaces can be that you've got a lot of background noise. There are a couple of clip-on mics that you can get that are pretty good at dusting out the background noise. I've got one. I've got it packed away at the moment because we're going on holiday shortly, so I've got it packed away. But a little clip-on mic, make sure you've got the little fluff ball over the top to stop the wind, and also when you're talking, your breath can go across your mic and give it a bit of a distorted thing. If you're going to use a room like I have here, this little, I'm back to front, that little screen, where am I? That little screen, that little screen behind me hides a multitude of sins. Do yourself a favour, get something like that that covers up the things in your room that you don't want people to see. Your room needs to be fairly straightforward, nothing over the top, and keep it simple. Keep your visuals so that people are looking at you and listening to you. You don't want a massive distractions going on around you. All right. Now, we need to use some things to stay on script. Now, I use a thing called teleprompter, and I'm supposed to be using it tonight, but I've gone completely off script. Sorry, Annie. But that doesn't matter. So, you need to have an app. When you're doing a talking head reel, when I actually get to filming it, you'll see what I mean. But I use an app called Teleprompter, which is extremely good because you can put your script in there. Once you've gathered it, you put your script in there and you can set it to match your talking pace. And you can practice backwards and forwards. But it gives you your script. Now, you don't have to stick to your script. You don't want to sound like a robot, but you do need pointers. I can assure you, the first few that you do will be flops. It's normal. Get used to it. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's just that you need to just get used to doing what you should be doing. I'm getting messages and people are giving me some clues here about what they would like me to talk about, which is great.
When I actually,
we won't worry about that. Okay, so match your talking pace when you're actually doing your teleprompter. Now, AI tools that you can use to brainstorm your topics. Getting your topics is really tricky for some people. And I used to loathe trying to find a caption, but there is a simple way to do it. So what you do is you use ChatGPT is my best friend at the moment until I find something else that I like better. But just at the moment, ChatGPT is my friend. But you need to talk to it like it's a human, not like it's a robot. So you find your topics, you type your topic into ChatGPT and ask it to refine it and make it more personal, make it more you. So finding topics for your reels. And this is where you integrate scrolling, the old magic finger scrolling, with chat. So research the top affiliates in your area. So people that are already in your niche or already in your zone, have a bit of a look at what they're saying and see if their topic resonates with you. If it does, grab that text, grab that caption or that email or whatever it is that they've written. Grab it and that's what you're going to use. So look at tips and strategies from your coaches. What are they saying? How are they saying things? What are they talking about? Because those are the subjects that are going to be relevant to people in your niche. Because if it's relevant to you, it's relevant to them. People in your niche, they're you. So what you're looking at is what they're looking at. And you need to mimic, for want of a better word, that subject. So even just inspirational quotes, you might have an idea that someone might have said something, consistency is key. That might be something that you're hearing quite a bit. So you would grab consistency is key for argument's sake. You will type into ChatGPT and you will, sorry, you've gone too far. You will type into ChatGPT, here is a phrase or here is a paragraph or here is a caption that I found that I really like, but it isn't really me. I would like you to rewrite it, refine it, and make it more me. You've always got to be mindful of plagiarism because we don't want to be doing that. You do not want to directly copy and paste somebody else's caption. So you go through the process of putting it through ChatGPT and and washing it, rinsing it, washing it, rinsing it, until it comes out the other end looking like something that you like, that resonates with you. Now, once you've done that and you've actually got a caption that you like, take that caption and save it somewhere. But then come back to GPT and you'll still have that caption up on the screen. It's at this point that you will then ask it to please now convert that into a script. So when you do your talking head, you will have your script from that caption, and you will put that caption as the caption on your talking head reel. So the two things marry up together. Your script will be slightly different to your caption. It'll be in the same theme and the same genre, if I want a better word. It will mesh together, but that's how you get to that point of being the right words. Now, how to look confident on and natural on reels. This took me ages. It took me so long, guys. I couldn't believe how difficult I seemed to be making this. A lot of people think that you have to be fully made up. You've got to have your hair right. You've got to have your clothes right. You've got to have, you've got to look like a supermodel or an Adonis or whatever. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. People want to see you as you, because that's who they're relating to. Now, one of the easiest way to look natural, and one of the things that I find particularly useful, is I will have a prop when I'm doing the reel. Some people will have sunglasses that they'll pop up on their head and then they'll talk. Some people will have a scarf around them. That's their signature, is a scarf. For me, when I'm doing reels, it's often a pen, and I'll have a pen in my hand. And I do this because it stops me fidgeting, so that I look a lot more natural when I'm talking to someone. It is something in my hand, and it does garner attention, so people will look to see what it is that I'm fiddling with, and then stop and listen, which is what we want them to do. So having something in your hand, or something that is eye-catching as a regular, whether you've got, I don't know, orange hair or a really loud pair of glasses, which, yeah, I know I do. But, it might be something else. But a pen or something in your hand does tend to relax you, because your mind is thinking about that, and your conversation becomes easier. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So when you put your information or your script into teleprompter, make sure that you space it out well. You don't want to be rushing your conversation. You don't want to be rushing your words. And you don't want to sound like a chipmunk yakking at people. People will stop and listen if you talk to them like you were having a coffee with them. Just relax and talk naturally. And teleprompter will help you with that, because it reminds you of the things that you've got to say, but it also gives you a pace to stay at. Space it out well. Put one sentence at the end of each sentence, put a return so you can breathe and follow the steps through. Highlight things by putting an extra space in there, or putting a couple of asterisks into the teleprompter that remind you that you need to just stop for a second, let what you've said sink in, and then move on to the next statement. I always do a dry run through with the teleprompter, so that I can see where I'm getting caught up. There might be a word in there that really tongue ties me, and it just doesn't quite sit right. It's not something that I would say conversationally. So go back and edit your script. Make sure you're spaced out well, and make sure that you're relaxed when you're doing the talking, like I'm trying to do here. Another thing that kind of helps with the teleprompter and actually doing the talking head is sometimes if you're standing. So for me at the moment tonight, I'm sitting because I'm in front of a laptop. But as long as you can as long as you can still see your script, uh, it adds an energy to your talking reel. So when I say talking head, it doesn't have to be just from here up. It can be the whole of you talking. You could be sitting by the pool. You could be walking along. You could be like I did one recently where I was bringing the washing in off the line. I could still see my teleprompter, so it was reminding me of what I was talking about. But it adds a different dimension and it makes you again authenticity, which is what we're after here. We want to be who we actually are. All right, so the final steps before we actually get into filming. So double check your lighting. Ensure that you are comfortable. Your clothes are comfortable, you're comfortable, everything is where it's supposed to be. Keep your setup as authentic as you can and as clutter-free. Here I go again. Clutter-free as you can so that people can see you and are not distracted by, a whole load of stuff in the background. Ensure that your audio is clear and free from background noise because that is super important. A lot of background noise will destroy an audio. And if you're as lucky as I am, have your walk in just as you're getting to the final bit and go, hey, right in the middle of you filming. Happens all the time. All the time. But I look at those as dry runs. So, we've all got our crosses to bear. Now, once you've done all that, hit record. Once you've saved it, save it to your phone. I do tend to save it to my phone and then replay it to make sure it's right because you might go through a recording and think, I nailed that. And then when you listen to it, you realize that you've got a couple of words not quite right or it doesn't sound right. Here's a tip though. Little mistakes are not bad. It just shows that you're actually human. I mean, if you've got a big gap in there, can it? But if it's just got a little stumble, leave it. Leave it. It actually just shows that you're human. Don't overthink it. Don't overproduce it. Just get it out there. All right. All right. So our key takeaways from today are the tools that you need. You need good lighting. You need a good microphone. And you need a little bag of self-confidence because that goes a long way. All right. You know how to find your reels, the topics for your reels, where to look. It could be emails that you get from your coaches or other people. It could be stuff that you've seen on someone else's Facebook page. It could just be an inspirational quote. It might actually just be a conversation you had with someone you think, oh, gee, people are asking about that. Maybe I should talk about it. Anything that's making you ask a question, it's great stuff for a reel. Look natural, be confident. Sometimes that's a little bit hard, I know, but just relax and lean into it. The first few I made a few months ago, they're so cringe. But now I can bang one out now in probably about 5 minutes or less. All right, so what's next? Next week, I'm going to talk about how to actually go about filming and editing and the softwares that you'll need to do that, none of which are particularly expensive. I think most of them you can get for free. So what I'd like you to do, your homework, okay, you don't get out of this for nothing, your homework is to brainstorm one real topic tonight and practice using a teleprompter. Just getting it, well, even if you don't practice using a teleprompter, practice using GPT, so practice using chat so that you can create the content that is going to create the reel. So get that down. Go and search for some content that you kind of like the look of and plug it in and play around with it until you get something that you like. It's not difficult. I used to think it was, and it used to balk me, but it's really not. So I will see you next week. Now, I am so grateful for everyone joining me tonight. I really do appreciate it. Do you have any questions? If you have, drop them into Messenger for me, and I will be able to see them, and then we can chat. And I would love to know if you've got anything that you would like me to talk about, or is there something that I forgot to discuss? Let me know what is on your mind. I will sit for a moment while we go through these and see what I've got coming in. Any questions, anybody? Let's see. I am just having a look to see who's got some questions. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to leave it for tonight. If you've got any questions, by all means, drop them below this video tonight or tomorrow or the next day. And I will check them out and I will answer as many of them as I possibly can. If you want to chat privately about all of this, I am all ears. All you've got to do is jump into Messenger and send me a message, and I will gladly help you any way I can. I love this space and I love teaching, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that for you and help you along your journey. Now, for now, good night, one and all. Thank you for being here, and everybody have a beautiful, wonderful evening. Good night.